So let's talk about some of the big takeaways here.
Yeah.
These hive-minded people will literally give Carol anything she asks for. We just covered that. Timeline on Carol being converted could be anytime from the next couple of weeks to months to years, depending on how many good ideas Vince Gilligan can come up with for the story. Zojia seemingly did want to stay with Carol before boarding Air Force Kumba, and they did not go to Vegas. Carol literally went and got her off that plane and got her back on hers, and Zojia almost seems happy about it. That's still an interesting wrinkle to me, because it doesn't really fit into the narrative of the whole hive-minded lacking individuality, or we contemplated whether or not the hive mind is capable of deception or lying on any level. Why would Zojia prefer to stay with Carol? So all that is still kind of up in the air. But as far as pointing out issues in human systems, last week we had no one in prison, no animals in zoos, yada yada. This week, no wasting food, no wasted energy, no wasted resources. So it's kind of a continuation of something that started to be brought up last week. And then, as I mentioned at the top of the show, it seems like Helen was maybe a little bit of the positivity in Carol's life. Carol is a real pessimistic stick in the mud by herself, which has gotten substantially worse since Helen's passing. Seems like this show is going to point to a lot of issues in the systems of Western society.
I've not read any think pieces or really much at all about this show beyond our discussion here.
Nor have I.
I have heard about some of it, and there are some obvious comps, there are some obvious things that I feel like you can put onto this show if you want. I don't necessarily have any feel for whether there was intention behind it from Vince Gilligan or not, but take your pick of whether this is about AI, whether it's about climate change, whether it's about wokeism, whether it's about any number of things that people have brought up. I think it's kind of take your pick. That's kind of the beauty of this, is that you get to put it onto it kind of what you want, and it will almost work as a vehicle for that discussion.
I will note I have seen a few Instagram posts, and I saw one where Vince Gilligan was quoted as saying, like, he started writing this show before AI even bubbled up as a massive, cultural revolution that's occurring. So for him, it wasn't about AI. There are plenty of comps, obviously.
Social media, connectivity,
right.
24/7 news cycle, like all these things are like things that you can kind of plug in a way.
I have seen some of the feedback around, like, what is this show about?
Right.
And at the end of the day, I do think it remains true of all art that's kind of the point. Like, you get to decide. It's the reason I won't let David Chase tell me what the ending of The Soprano means. The Sopranos. You made the show, sir. You chose to have the ending be non-definitive.
Yep.
I get to decide now.